Hey, it's Spa Week, we got what you need. Sit back, relax, and come in for a treat.
It's Spa Week at Baja Retreat. Come see your favorite massage therapist for a well deserved treat. We'll help you unwind and release the stress of that busy work week. Call or WhatsApp us today to make your appointment. So join us April 19th to the 24th for Spa Week at Baja Retreat.
We will go the extra mile at Baja Retreat Spa.
Hey, bang! Revenge!
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is I was going to say a beautiful day, but it's my kind of day. Anyway, I do love the overcast skies, but if you are following, you know that these overcast skies have been said to be due to Saharan dusts and some volcanic ash and all kinds of things coming across the Caribbean Sea. So be mindful for those of us who suffer from asthma or any sort of respiratory ailments, that this is also a concern for you. Be mindful of that. Take care of yourself as best as you can. But overcast skies, sometimes it makes me want to call my mom and say, "Mommy, make me some soup." Right. And I just started liking soup in my old age, not in my in my younger days. As I've gotten older, I want some of that good soup. But nonetheless, we digress. We got a good show for you today. As you know, we are continuing our story or our shows of natural resources. Yesterday, we had an excellent contribution by Mr. Christopher Mbanefo from Switzerland, African gentleman from Oxyzen, talking about carbon credits. And I thought it was very, stimulating. For the record, the first conversation I ever had about carbon credits was with our very own C. Allen, and he was fantastic in terms of teaching me as much as I could learn. I mean, at that point, it's still not even, I couldn't contain it all. So the first person really, and that shows you how brilliant we have as Bahamians, talking about the carbon sinks. And it was great to hear Mr. Mbanefo share those thoughts, but he gave a lot more detail in terms of the graphs and whatnot and the data there for us on the show. And you can go on my Facebook and YouTube pages and you can go and see that for yourself. Today, we're going to be talking with Captain Glenn Bain about home porting, maritime opportunities there. So that's our discussion in the maritime sector for our Natural Resources Week. That's at 4:30. But we also have some top of the news stuff to discuss. Top of the news thing to discuss out of Abaco. So I don't know if you guys were following, if you saw some of the videos that have been circulating, where we had Kai Mills, and you guys are familiar with Kai Mills, this gentleman in Abaco, who has been sort of an avenger. That's what I call him, right? Out there getting, showing videos and trying to draw attention to the plight of Abaco. And recently, he posted a video showing a yellow bus and these persons supposedly putting things into a bus, mattresses. Not supposedly, the video shows they're putting mattresses and whatnot into this bus. He was accosted in the video, and I wanted to get a sense from him, because what is going on now, what I'm hearing, what I'm wondering and concerned about are the tensions rising in Abaco. What is going on the ground in Abaco? Do we have an issue? We know we've always had an issue of illegal migration in Abaco, right? We've always known that we've had an illegal populace creating shanty towns that were kind of, I still don't know to this day, because of how it's proliferated and it continues to grow, if it was something that was wanted on the island by a certain select few as labor. And so hence immigration just was failing to do its job because they were probably told, their hands were tied. I don't know. But it seems very disconcerting to me that this continues to happen. And now I'm, watching Abaconians or watching Mr. Mills, and I wonder if he's a lone ranger, if he's a lone avenger on the island. So I wanted to get him here because on the news, the Minister of Immigration saying that, hey, listen, Bahamians, if they see something untoward, they're not picking on people. They have a right to ask questions, a right to call it out. And they're saying that three Haitian males were arrested. But we want to get the story directly from Kai Mills. So from Abaco right now, joining me is none other than Mr. Kai Mills himself. Mr. Mills, welcome to the Hit Back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's amazing that I appreciate you having me on your program. I was trying to get on. I heard Juan McCartney on earlier, and everybody talking as if they know what the hell going on in Abaco. I wish to have gotten on that program, but I'm glad that you hooked up with me, because nobody knows it. Only those that sees it and feels it every day can speak to the subject matter. I live it for 40 years. And I recently did a video and I said there's nothing wrong as far as the Haitian problem. We don't have a Haitian problem here. We have a Bahamian problem and a government problem. I have enough respect for my immigration officers and my defense force. We have about 3,000 to 4,000 after the hurricane. Before the hurricane, it's barely over 5,000 illegals. And if you get 10, I saw the video with this fella threatening the Bahamas government. But if you get 10 serious immigration officers and 10 defense force officers, they could control this whole island and bring this under arrest.
Let me ask you something, Kai. Let me ask you something real quick. How do you know 5,000? Where did you get those numbers from?
Well, they had one of those Haitian minister in the FDM government doing an assessment of what was there. And he was way off.
Hold on, let me make sure.
But after hurricane,
I need to make sure now, because I don't want you to go. I don't want this to be something where we're disparaging or whatnot. Now, who is this supposed? Are we talking? What are you talking when you say Haitian minister? What are we talking about?
Well, it's a Haitian descent. What we don't want to do.
What we don't want to do. I don't remember his name.
It's a red fella.
Yeah, because we don't want to. We don't want to be. We're not promoting xenophobia on the show. Right, we're not going to promote xenophobia.
Okay, we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, no, we don't do that on the show. We don't promote xenophobia. What I wanted to find out. What I wanted to find out from you, Kai, was with regard to what is going on in Abaco and to that scene. Have you seen an issue where with regard to immigration, there has been a challenge with immigration officers, or is there a proliferation? And from what you've seen with illegal migrants, are you the only person who may be having a problem with illegals and everybody else is fine? Is this a problem that only Kai Mills is seeing, or is this a problem that is in Abaco?
I don't have a problem with nobody, period. I live my life that I can communicate with all and sundries. I have a problem with law breakers. Some of my best friends is of Haitian descent. I remember being the president of the Abaco Basketball Association. We had something in Abaco called the Mud Dogs, where the Haitians were painting graffiti all over Marshaba. I went into the mud to find out what the problem was. The problem was that the Marshaba people wanted them to work, but after work, get out of Marshaba. So they were confined to the mud and the peas, and they had good energy, very athletic. So I opened a basketball court near the mud and the peas. 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll have 50 to 60 young guys waiting their time to compete in basketball. We have, coming to my yard, we have people that are of Haitian descent, but now they are Bahamian. And the crazy thing is like, wow, they're coming to report all the Shawnee towns to me because they're now straight. So this is where this jealousy comes now. They don't want the new Haitians to come because they brings down the price of labor. So they're telling me that we need to do something with these Haitians. And they're telling me where these Haitians town is located, what they're doing. That's how I know the information. I don't particularly have a problem with anybody. I deal with tourism from all over the world. My problem is the lawlessness. The Haitian that attacked me the other day, 3 weeks, I was dialoguing with him. We never raised our voice. We never cursed, never swear. We speak like gentlemen. It's after I took the video and walking away, he tried to attack me. But
let me ask something, Kai.
the problem is not the Haitian, you know.
Okay, go ahead. The problem is who?
The problem is the government. Watch what happened at the farm. Everybody saw what happened at the farm. Use common sense, just common sense. Forget about the college degree. After the hurricane, the government knew that the Haitians were now moving on to the farm. You know what the government did? Smartly, they put a defense officer at the one road, and armed officers. Nothing moved, coming back and forth. When the government decided to move the officer, then the migration started. But all they needed was 1, 2 defense force at the gate day and night. That problem would have never escalated. When they moved the officer, that was the indication that the government is in agreement. You got to go some way, go on the farm. But the government didn't recognize that it would escalate in such huge number so quickly. The Haitians build day and night. They're like ants. They don't stop moving.
Okay, that's terminology. Hold on, let me ask you something, Kai. Kai, hold on. Let me ask you now, because again, some of it is beginning to tip into to verbiage that is not kosher, it's not PC. So let me ask you this here. Kai Mills from Abaco joining us. In terms of structures, right? Let's talk about Abaco. You've been an advocate for Abaco, not just in terms of illegal migration, but in terms of post-Dorian. In terms of building and structure and development, what is going on the ground in Abaco? Because I've spoken to independent candidate Roscoe Thompson, and his thing is that when I asked about, never mind, that's another point. But what is going on in terms of the pace of development? I noticed in that video too, church was outside. Are we seeing any developments? What's going on there?
Thank God for the NGOs. This is the first, I've been through 10 hurricanes. The last major one was Hurricane Floyd, Jean, and Francis. After Hurricane Floyd, we lost 120 homes or more about, but we never lost one life. The government came in and rebuilt every home. After Hurricane Jean and Francis, the next government came in and they rebuilt 60 homes and repaired over 300. This hurricane, what happened to be the most devastating hurricane in the history of the Caribbean, especially in my lifetime, the government of the Bahamas has not rebuilt one single home. And if the government of the Bahamas would have partnership with the NGOs, not using the NGOs to do their job, but to come after they collected so much monies. Remember the taxes went up. Remember all the money that they even stopped telling us how much money was collected. There is no handprint of government involvement in terms of helping Abaconians. They left us out to sea like a boat without a rudder. And that is the hardship. Today and yesterday we had heavy rains and wind. And I feel, because I still have passion for my people, and I see them in these domes that are filled with black and green mold, and they're leaking. And this is all the government threw at us. It's the leaky, moldy domes, and they disappeared. They had a program with the DRA. The DRA just now got back up and running. For 6 months, they just stopped helping people, period. The passion of the foreign workers never ceased. They are on the ground, living in tents just like us, but the government workers and the government is visibly absent. Right now where I'm now, Ms. Black, there's almost, it's heading to 100 structures, big structures. I did a video there 3 months ago where persons recognized that their material was used to construct these homes, their doors and their windows. The government does nothing, and the building continues. We as Bahamian, I'm not the only one. I'm the only one that brave enough to put my face to video, but we have numbers of Bahamians that are going and reporting these illegal structures, but the government does nothing until it comes to a video op when the Bahamian people complain furiously. Then they start to act. Shouldn't they act? I think it's poor for the government to wait and let poor people get to the stage of moving in their houses. Then they come and break it down. They have to keep on the job. They have a defense force here, 70 man that does nothing in the day. Stay on the ground and break these structures down from the foundation. 100, almost 100 homes, almost as big as the farm, and it's right in the back of my house. It's less than a mile from where the bus is, Front Street. So they're getting braver, not because of Kai, they're getting braver because the lack of government personnel on the ground saying stop, stop, stop.
But
3 weeks.
Kai,
I was there complaining about this bus.
Hold on. So 3 weeks you were complaining about this bus. For 3 weeks you were complaining about this yellow bus on this. I mean, it's a big bus. It's a big bus. I think it's weird. For 3 weeks you said you brought this to attention to the appropriate authorities' attention. Are you saying then that on the ground locals are speaking to whomever is the necessary persons about the increasing illegal structures, and you're not getting any responses?
No response. I went today by the Minister of Work office and complained. I said I saw the whole entourage. It was a beautiful thing to see. Department of Immigration, Defense Force, Social Service, Ministry of Work, all the agencies come together to do a walk around the bus. But guess what? In America, before they leave there, that illegal structure would have been gone. The bus still there. The people still in the bus, waiting till the wave of this attention blower. They'll be right back in the bus. Any good, rational thinking official that knows their job should have got the same record. The bus was brought there by a wrecker. They should have come with the intention to move the structure. But they come and did a circle round, did the little notes, take the little pictures, and the bus is just like how you see on the picture. It is there today. Still an eyesore. When the government of the Bahamas has spent so much money to move such eyesores out of the community, the bus is right on Front Street, Dunderstown, filled with the people clothes, just as they left it, and nobody has cared to move it. It is still there. That is the officials we got.
Kai Mills from Abaco. Kai, what would you say the tension is? There was some statement online. I think that, is it different from this? What part of the island of Abaco are you on? Because I think someone said Marsh Harbor, that side of town, there wouldn't be no uprising because people would just grab their guns. Where are you located, Kai?
I'm in the next community next to Marsh Harbor, Dunderstown. Dunderstown is the first community in North Abaco. That Dunderstown, Murphytown, and Central Pine is the biggest constituency in North Abaco. And I happen to be born in this constituency, still living here, and I see the day-to-day activity. And I think it's wrong what the Bahamians are causing, because there is a Bahamian always involved in encouraging these people. There's a Bahamian that owned that property in the beginning. He encouraged all the other property that I talk about, where you have about 100 homes. It is government land. And you know what the Bahamians are doing? They're collecting $2,000 per house and telling the Bahamians, telling the Haitians that is their property and they could build. What the authorities need to do is to set a precedent by getting these fraudulent Bahamians and locking their behind up. They are encouraging the Haitians. The Haitians is not doing it by themselves. There is a struggle. And most of these people are not Haitians. Some of these are Bahamians that don't have no property. It is wrong for any Bahamian to give anybody a bus to put on the property to put their young kids in. It's wrong to use the Haitian struggling in a based in power and enriched Bahamian. It is slavery of another color.
Yep.
They don't even know the Haitian name. They call them my Haitian. And they're using the Haitians to empower themselves and enrich themselves. And it's wrong. It's criminal.
It is criminal. And I'm glad you said it. Kai Mills from Abaco, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the time. Be safe, and just, take care of yourself and be safe. Yeah, be safe. Because, at the same time,
I'll tell you a quick.
We got to go.
I'll tell you a quick story before
we have to go, but we'll do this again.
Okay.
I appreciate you. All right. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We got to take a quick break. Kai Mills joining us. It's Spa Week, y'all, at Baja Retreat. Get yourself this wonderful week of relaxation. They have wonderful protocols, safety protocols, so you don't have to be concerned. Go ahead, get it before things go crazy. Get yourself a wonderful discount. Get your facial. We're giving away certain prizes on the show this week. So it's Spa Week at Baja Retreat. Go to their website. Go ahead, give them a call. Find out what you can get yourself. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's Spa Week. We got what you need. Sit back, relax, and come in for a treat.
It's Spa Week at Baja Retreat. Come see your favorite massage therapist for a well-deserved treat. We'll help you unwind and release the stress of that busy work week. Call or WhatsApp us today to make your appointment. So join us April 19th to the 24th for Spa Week at Baja Retreat.
We will go the extra mile at Baja Retreat Spa.